RCEP is a trade deal involving 15 countries in the Asia Pacific region. When negotiations were launched in 2012, almost it took 8 years. So this integration, this regional bloc, originally all 10 countries from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN. We have seen ASEAN, the regional trading bloc in the Asian continent in the earlier discussions. So all these 10 Asian countries included in this pact, in this agreement, the Southeast Asian nations, which are Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, and India. So this agreement, this partnership, economic partnership, began as an attempt to integrate trade agreements between Asian nations. So it was launched in, negotiations were launched in 2012, and it came into being in 2020. So all Asian countries, 10 Asian countries, the members of this economic partnership. So when signed, this RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, will be the world's largest trade agreement. Now, is it visible, the slides? Ajita?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So recently now they've asked this question about RCEP and the India's impact on India. So this is the latest happening, and also the literature may not be available in textbooks, only through this articles, magazines, we can get this. So what is this RCEP and where do negotiations stand? So this is a deal, trade deal involving 15 countries in the Asian Pacific region. RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, is a trade deal involving 15 countries in the Asia Pacific region. So when negotiations were launched in 2012, the bloc originally included all 10 countries from the Association of South Asian Nations, Asia, plus Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, and India. So this began as an attempt to integrate trade agreements between Asian nations and their majority trading partners. So these partners are called dialogue partners into a single agreement. So when signed this RCEP, this has become the world's largest trading bloc, a trade agreement. So at the end of the last negotiating session in November, the agreement was all about all but finalized, but officials announced plans to sign the agreement in February 2020. So officials had stated in previous years that RCEP was close to being finalized without an agreement coming to fruition. So this agreement signed in February 2020. It came into force from February 2020. So, however, unlike previous instances, in early November, leaders from these nations, from these Asian nations, RCEP countries, declared that text-based negotiations and essentially at all market access issues. This we should keep in mind. No, what are the issues that have been discussed and included in this agreement? So all these text-based negotiations and essentially all market access issues had been concluded, and that a legal scrub of the agreement would be undertaken to prepare for signature in 2020. So why they have taken, though the meeting was held in December 2019, and officials agreed to sign the papers in February 2020, just to address all these issues. Essentially, all market access issues had been concluded, and that of a legal scrub of the agreement would be undertaken to prepare for signature. So in 2020, February. So a legal you know, scrub is traditionally the last box to check before an agreement is signed. Initially, when negotiations takes place, they uh, include all the points, all the issues that have been that need some discussions and consensus. So at the end, before signing the agreement, they see the legal points, legal issues involved, in implementing, all these issues, incorporated in the agreement. So this leaders have ordered this final step. Suggests signature is more likely than not in coming months. So RCEP negotiations had reached a critical joint for the Asian economy, slowing global trade. So increasing Asian integration and disruption of trade patterns of all put pressures on this economic partnership, regional comprehensive economic partnership nations to come to an agreement. So main reason that one is integration of all Asian countries and disruption of trade patterns. This all these put pressure on these Asian countries or nations to come to an agreement. So during the final negotiation, so during the final negotiations, Indian Prime Minister, the present Prime Minister of India, our country, Narendra Modi, announced that India would pull out of the agreement. Now, what is the reason? Why now Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that India would pull out from the economic partnership and from this agreement? So while India's move was somewhat unexpected, so the departure will not impact the progress of RCEP. So the remaining 15 nations plan to move forward, aiming to sign the agreement in 2020 and implement it in 2021. So the RCEP provisions that specifically address India will be frozen, and other small changes may be made in order to account for India's departure. So RCEP will remain open for India to rejoin at any time, but it is unlikely that India will look to rejoin prior to the signing of the agreement. So this is what happened. This India's stand with regard to RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. So let us see why the India left this trade pact. What are the reasons why our Prime Minister announced that that our country would pull out of this agreement? So why did India leave the trade pact? So Prime Minister Modi stated that India's withdrawal was the result of core concerns with RCEP. So what are these core concerns? And also Indian Prime Minister of Indian Minister of External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar said that no agreement was better than a bad agreement. So India's main concerns with the agreement revolved around e-commerce sections and trade imbalances, particularly in agricultural and industrial trade. So the Indian government has taken that decision to pull out of this agreement. These are the reasons: e-commerce sections and trade imbalances, particularly the agriculture and industrial trade. So India pushed for a provision on data localization within the e-commerce section, which would require that any data collected on citizens of a certain country remain in that country unless approval is granted for its removal. Now everyone is worrying. We are getting the messages that don't use Zoom app or all these things, because this will be stored somewhere else in some other country. All your details will face a problem of privacy, data secrecy. It's a violation of uh, rules and regulations. So that's why India's main concern is to this only, provision on data localization. So what is the data localization? So within the e-commerce, particularly this in the e-commerce section. So this requires that any data collected on citizens of a certain country remain in that country unless approval is granted for its removal. So you will be getting so many messages from unknown sources, unknown people, unknown companies. So that means that your data is available with them. Your phone numbers, your profile, everything would be available with those companies. That's why you are getting the messages. So same way, India tried to restrict this opening up of citizens' data to other countries unless it is approved by the country. So opponents to the proposition argued that, other Asian countries argued that the provision would hinder the function of e-commerce and provide opportunities for governments to mishandle data. See here, when you are signing the agreement, e-commerce will be done on net. Companies should have, and in different countries should have the data of all citizens in that Asian countries. So this was the argument from other partner countries, as dialogue partners, whatever you call. So opponents to this proposition argued that the provision would hinder the function of e-commerce and provide opportunities for the governments to mishandle data. So India also had major concerns over trade imbalances, as it had trade deficits with 11 of the 15 nations involved in RCEP. So this trade imbalances, foreign exchange reserves depends upon imports and exports. When you remove all the restrictions on trade tariffs and quotas, so that may lead to this kind of trade imbalances among the countries. Whoever export more than they import would be in an advantageous position. The countries which depend maximum on other countries on imports, they face this kind of deficit trade balances. So that is the concern of Indian government. Now the products into so fearing that the deal could result in a flood of manufacturing and agricultural products. If you open now everything, definitely the countries would be flooded with all manufacturing and agricultural products from other countries. That was the worry of the India. So fearing that these products into their market, India was unwilling to remove tariffs on many sensitive industries. Now, if you open, China will dump everything of their product in all regions with their products and services, particularly manufacturing and agricultural products. So comparatively, China is in better position when compared to all other Asian countries. So if all are removed, and if, with this regional comprehensive economic partnership, the other countries and who are strong in manufacturing and agriculture, particularly China, will dump with their products and their manufacturing products in other countries. So that's why India opposed this pact. So India was unwilling to remove tariffs on many sensitive industries such as dairy, mainly because we are doing very well in this. Definitely, when it is opened, this industry